Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Friday to everybody and happy final day of May. We start the month of June tomorrow. It's hard to believe that we are already just about halfway through the year 2024. Today, here on the channel, I want to talk some NASCAR, but first, I want to tell you a quick, funny story of something I read earlier in the week. And this is something you just cannot make up. I forget exactly where it happened at, but somewhere there was a guy that was supposed to go to court for a suspended license. So he was going to try to get his license back. Well, he missed his court date, so when it came time for the hearing, he did a Zoom call. Instead of being there in person, he decided maybe it's just as good to do a Zoom call. So he calls the courthouse and does his hearing over his phone for his Zoom call to get his license back, and he does his Zoom call behind the wheel of a vehicle. Some people never cease to amaze me at how stupid they are. But on to the world of NASCAR. This past Saturday we had the Xfinity race from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott comes home with the win, followed by Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, AJ Allmendinger rounds out the top five, and then we had Kyle Busch, Ryan Sieg, Josh Williams, Ty Gibbs, and Noah Gragson rounding out the top 10. And then Sunday was supposed to be the Coca-Cola 600 that NASCAR has every year on Memorial Day weekend, but instead it was the Coca-Cola, we'll call it 375. More on that in a minute, but Christopher Bell comes home with the win, followed by Brad Keselowski, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin rounds out the top five. Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Alex Bowman, and Josh Berry rounded out the top 10. And it was the Coca-Cola 375 because of rain. They completed 248 laps. On lap 249, they brought out the red flag because of rain, and they had mentioned earlier that it was probably going to come because the Indianapolis 500 had a long rain delay, and that rain was heading from Indianapolis to Charlotte. The only thing that ticked me off was the way they done it. I understand you can't help the rain, but it started raining about 9:40 Eastern time Sunday night. First of all, you can come back on Monday and finish because almost everybody was off work because of the holiday on Monday. But second of all, if you're going to call it, go ahead and call it. But instead, they wait out the entire rain delay. About 11 o'clock Eastern time, the rain stops. They send the cleanup crew to the track to start track cleanup, and they get about 10 minutes into it, and NASCAR says, oh, never mind, we're done. By the time we get the track cleaned up, it'll be about 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's too late to restart, so we'll just go ahead and call it. Why send the crew out there to even start track cleanup? At 11 o'clock when the rain stops, just say, you know what, it stopped raining, but we're done. Or why not come out and say, you know what, now that the rain is out of here, we're going to come back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and finish. But instead, you wait out the delay, and then as soon as the rain stops, you start cleaning up and then say, oh, wait, never mind, we're done. That is stupid, that's ignorant, and that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You knew when you started cleanup at 11 o'clock that it's going to take an hour and a half, 2 hours to dry the track. So just go ahead and say, you know what, we'll go ahead and call it. Don't start the cleanup and then when the process starts say, never mind, we're done. Makes no sense at all. And the big news coming out in the world of NASCAR this week, it's now official that Stewart-Haas Racing is shutting down at the end of the season. That rumor started probably back in about April, and just like most rumors, it was actually true. Tony Stewart released a statement, I believe, on Tuesday and said they were done. And it sucks for the drivers. Now, it doesn't suck for Ryan Preece. I think Ryan Preece is just a hot pile of doo-doo. There's no hope for him. He sucks. But Josh Berry has actually done a pretty good job now driving the 4-car for the retired Kevin Harvick. Noah Gragson has done pretty good. And Chase Briscoe has even won a race in that 14 car. So those 3 drivers get that unfortunate news. Now, Penske only has 3 cars and you're allowed to have 4. So if Penske decides to start a 4th team, there's a chance that one of those guys goes to Penske. But Hendrick already has 4 and Gibbs already has 4 unless Martin Truex Jr. retires. So all the big-time organizations in the Cup Series are full. So you might see these guys go to trucks. You might see them go to Xfinity. You might see them drive for one of the lower-tier teams in the Cup Series. But it sucks because they were actually doing good, and then word comes out they're shutting down. And it also affects Cole Custer in the Xfinity Series. He is the defending Series champion, and now he is out of a ride, at least for Stewart-Haas Racing. But that is the world we live in now. Like I said, the rumor started back in about April, but it was actually rumors last year that Stewart-Haas Racing was probably not going to be around much longer because they're just struggling so bad, and anybody that follows NASCAR knows that Tony Stewart does not like to lose, and Stewart-Haas Racing has just progressively gotten worse since about 2021, and nobody knows why, but they've just gone backwards. So instead of continuing to struggle, they just decided, hey, let's just shut this puppy down. So any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. In a recent survey, ambulance staff were voted the favorite emergency service. Firemen continue to slide down the poles. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.